Hi, it's Carl Brower, and I'm standing next to the 2026 Toyota Corolla Cross. This vehicle has had a mid-cycle update for 2026, so there's a number of changes, but let's cover the basics first. It's a 2-liter, 4-cylinder drivetrain that sends power through a continuously variable transmission to either the front or all 4 wheels. You can get front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive version of this vehicle. Now, if you get a front-wheel drive version, you get either 31 miles per gallon in the city, 33 on the highway, or 32 mixed. If you get all-wheel drive, things drop a little as expected. You get 29 in the city, 31 on the highway, and 30 mixed. This vehicle will do 0 to 60 in about 9.2 seconds, which maybe sounds a little slow. That's not maybe the quickest acceleration for 2026, even in small cars like this. But there is a hybrid version we're going to talk about in a second, and that gets considerably better acceleration numbers and considerably higher fuel efficiency too. Things like cargo capacity in this vehicle, even though it is so small, you get somewhere between 21.5 and 24 cubic feet of storage space behind the second row. And if you fold that second row down, you get between 44 and 47 cubic feet of storage space. I remember when this car first came out a few years ago. I was driving it at, I believe it was a San Diego-based press event. Right now we're up here in lovely Napa Valley. I really liked the Corolla Cross the first time I drove it. I thought everything from its style to its driving dynamics to its functionality and its fuel efficiency, I felt like you got a pretty good amount of car for the money. And a brand like Toyota, who's gotten, well, only more powerful in the last 20 years, they have to now compete with brands like Hyundai and Kia, which are also becoming more powerful on their value-based vehicles. You get a lot of value from those brands, and I think Toyota has to make sure they don't lose that aspect. And I think the Corolla Cross is one of those vehicles that impressed me both when it was first introduced and as I stand next to this 2026, again, in how much value you get out of the vehicle. And you can get this in 3 trim levels, either the L, the LE, or the XLE. And the L starts at about $26,000 and all with destination. So $26,000, you can't really get almost any car for that kind of money today. But to be able to get a Toyota badged vehicle with 30 plus MPG, up to 47 cubic feet of cargo capacity, all-wheel drive, and starting out at that kind of price, again, good value. I think the car looks good, and I can tell you it's got good driving dynamics. Acceleration, CVT, base model, that's a little challenging, I think. But if you're not into acceleration or that's not a concern for you, you get all those other great attributes. And if you do want better acceleration, get the hybrid version. The hybrid version also has a 2-liter, 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine, but it's got 3 electric motors. And when you think about it, that's pretty advanced technology. You're getting 3 electric motors plus an internal combustion engine all tied together. And that vehicle starts, of course, at a higher price, but you get 0 to 60 in 7.3 seconds. You shave almost 2 seconds off your 0 to 60, and you get around 46 miles per gallon. That's quite a jump from what this one that I'm standing next to gets. I think both models have their positive points. If you're trying to find a high value car, but you want to go with a brand you really can trust, either the Corolla Cross or the Corolla Cross Hybrid are both good choices. We've switched from the Toyota Corolla Cross gasoline version to the hybrid version I'm standing next to now. As you probably have noticed, this one is available in a very cool cavalry blue color for 2026. It also now has a body-colored front grille. One of the big changes for the gasoline version is what Toyota calls a more rugged front grille, and it's a little more prominent, and it's got that kind of gray color. This grille is now body color, which I do think adds a more premium look and feel to the hybrid version for 2026. You can also get new 18-inch black wheels that were previously available only on the Nightshade version of the Corolla Cross Hybrid, but now they're available on the top XSE version of this vehicle. You also get a new, or I should say improved, more powerful engine in the new hybrid. It does make 196 horsepower. That's an increase from last year, so it does make a little more power. And of course, all the hybrid versions like this one come with standard 3 electric motors plus the 2-liter non-turbocharged engine. It makes it all-wheel drive. Every single hybrid version of this vehicle is all-wheel drive, whereas you can still get a front or all-wheel drive version of the gasoline Corolla Cross. Another new feature on both the gasoline and hybrid version, LED DRLs. So you now have LED headlights and DRLs on all trim levels, top to bottom. but you can only get this Cavalry Blue on the upper trim levels. There's also a new available center console that has wireless charging for your phone. That again is only available on the upper trim levels of both the gasoline and the hybrid version like this. And you get this 10.5-inch touchscreen display available as a package on the upper trim levels. Another universal upgrade is the gauge cluster, or the driver information center, if you like to call it that. It was a 4-inch gauge cluster that could be upgraded to a 7-inch previously. Now it's standard 7-inch across all the trim levels, but the upper trim levels get a 12.3-inch display. As is always the case with modern cars, more digital real estate. Some of the interior upgrades for 2026 we've talked about include this new center console that has wireless charging capability, and also controls like your driver mode here and the EV mode that you can do with this hybrid version we're sitting in. You've also got heated seats because this is the top trim and you get heated seats. Dual zone climate control, another element of the XSE top trim that we're sitting in. And this one does have the larger 10.5-inch new for 2026 central touchscreen display. It also has the new for 2026 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster that is the upgrade from the 7-inch cluster that all of them come with standard now. And there's a good amount of steering wheel controls here, as you can see, everything from audio controls to cruise and driver assistance controls right here on the steering wheel. You also get a sunroof on this top trim XSE model, and I'm happy how Toyota did it on the Corolla Cross. They did it the right way. Sunroofs, they're fine as long as you can close off the sun and don't have light always hitting you when you don't want to. And as you can see, this has got a cover on it that you can slide when you want it open. And if you want it fully open, you just hit the controls here and it opens up for you. But if you want it all closed, you can close the sunroof, like you of course should be able to. And you can't always say this about every car, you can close the shade too and make it so there's no actual sun hitting you. That's how all sunroofs should be. Yes, I'm talking to you luxury auto manufacturers with giant panoramic roofs and no way to close off the sun. And even the electrochromic technology in those things, it still has a certain amount of sun or light coming in, but this is the way it should be. A fully opaque close off the sun when you want it. Driving the Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid is interesting because it's got a CVT, which normally I wouldn't expect much out of when it's time to floor the throttle, but because it's also got 3 electric motors and the torque they make, when I do floor it, I'm pretty happy with the response I get. And it explains why this one does 0 to 60 almost 2 seconds faster than the gasoline version. So I'm a big fan of this hybrid version. You're not only getting the increased fuel efficiency, but you're getting the faster acceleration. And again, for between $30,000 and $35,000, I mean, this one's a top line XSE, so it's got a lot of the new stuff that's available this year, like the cool colors and the larger display screens and the better center console. You load this up and get a maxed out version for $35,000 and all the benefits you get from the hybrid technology. This explains why Toyota has just done so well with their hybrids. They're making all hybrid Camrys, they're gonna make all hybrid RAV4s this coming generation, and even the cars where it's either a hybrid or a non-hybrid, like the Corolla Cross right now, a hybrid's the way to go, even if you have to spend some extra money. So I'm a big fan of what they've done with this vehicle, and I already liked it when it first came out. I always thought it was an attractive looking car, relatively good dynamics, and high value. And with these mid-cycle upgrades for 2026, it's only gotten better in that way. I really like the Soul Red Crystal color they've borrowed from Mazda directly. I mean, that is a Mazda color. I'm not just saying it looks like Mazda's color. I talked to the Toyota folks. They're using Mazda's paint code. They've worked with Mazda to cut a deal. So that red is beautiful. And I like the Portobello kind of, tan interior that you can get as well. You've really got to get the upper trim levels on this car because that's where a lot of these new things that have come in are only available. But even the upper trim levels, like I say, are a good value. I just think you're getting a lot of car for the money with any of these versions of the Corolla Cross. So you start with like a $26,000 one, including destination charge, a base gasoline, and you go up to $35,000 for a loaded hybrid one, XSE, like we're in right now. That's still cheaper than the average new car at around $48,000, a lot cheaper, and you're getting a lot of car for the money. So big fan. Toyota, keep hitting the value equation hard. You got competition from places like Hyundai and Kia, as we know, but I look at a car like this and I feel like Toyota hasn't lost its way. They make a lot of high-end cars and a lot of Lexus products. They also still make a lot of high-value vehicles, and the Corolla Cross is a good example of it. Driving the gas version of the Corolla Cross right now, and I gotta tell you, I've floored it a few times, and I'm actually surprised. Even without the extra torque that you get from the hybrid version, it moves out pretty well. Again, the CVT doesn't inspire a lot of excitement when you're driving a car like this, but it's got better throttle response than I thought. It still has a 9.2 second 0 to 60, so at a higher speeds, you're probably not going to accelerate very quickly in this vehicle. Something else that's interesting is this is another top-line XLE model that has a lot of the same equipment that the hybrid version has that I was just driving, but it does not have a driver's mode button down here. And I find that very interesting. I wonder if they just feel like there's not enough power and performance and capability for this vehicle to justify having multiple driver's modes. So that's really the only difference from a kind of interior control and interface standpoint. That's really the only difference I see between this and the hybrid. No driver's mode button. Otherwise, heated seats, heated steering wheel, and a lot lower price tag. This car tops out around $30,000 for the XLE version. So you still get a lot of car for the money, even in the non-hybrid version. You're just not going to have as much power and torque. While every hybrid version of the Corolla Cross is available with all-wheel drive, as well as an optional drivetrain choice for the gas version, most people probably will not actually off-road this vehicle. It will be used more for inclement weather. But if you did want to off-road it, there is capability, as we're experiencing right now, going up a rather steep 2-track road. It's not exactly Moab and Rubicon stuff, but we are climbing a steep road and we've got no pavement. It's all dirt and rocks beneath us. And this hybrid version of the Corolla Cross is handling it without much of an issue, really. And there is no drive mode setting specifically for off-roading. It's either sport or eco or normal. So if you just want to do it in your Corolla Cross, you don't even have to do anything special. Just start driving it off-road. So here we are up at the top of one of the hills above Sonoma Raceway, where you've got quite a view of San Francisco in that direction, but you've also got a view of the new Cavalry Blue hybrid Corolla Cross after it's climbed up this hill pretty effortlessly and without much of a challenge, despite the steepness of the hill and the somewhat slippery or unsure surface that we just drove up with the all-wheel drive. So it does actually have off-road, at least minimal capabilities. Again, I don't think I'd go on the Rubicon Trail. I don't think the ground clearance would support that, but it can take you to off-pavement places and adventures, at least to some extent. When you have a utility vehicle, you want utility, not to just carry things behind the seats, but to carry people in the seats. I've got this front seat adjusted for my 6-foot frame. I'm now sitting behind that adjustment and I'm fine. It's not even super tight. These seats, as they often do, have a bit of a relief. They cut forward to give you some extra legroom in the second row, and I'm totally satisfactory here. I could drive a pretty long distance. Headroom's good, legroom's good, and even shoulder room's good. So I don't know if I'd want to have 3 people, certainly not 3 adults back here, but 4 adults, 2 in front, 2 in this seat, you're fine. With the average new car price around $48,000, you might not think there's much left in the way of value for new car shoppers. There is, but you have to look a little harder. You can't be buying these big SUVs or trucks that most of us don't actually need anyways. And brands like Hyundai, Kia, and thankfully even Toyota, for all of its powerful large trucks and SUVs that it makes, it still knows how to cater to the value-seeking consumer. And the Toyota Corolla Cross, especially for 2026, is a good example. It's been enhanced in several ways. It still gets great fuel efficiency, even in the base gasoline version, and certainly in the hybrid version. And there's a lot of great features that have been added for this year. Don't hesitate to give this vehicle a close look if you're looking for maximum utility, fuel efficiency, and value, and still not spending more than about $30,000 to $35,000. It's a great option for you out there right now as a new car shopper.